Welcome to Community Conversations. Good morning. I am Queen Miss Ebony J. You're listening and watching 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. If you've never been here before, I am Queen Miss Ebony J, the queen that does the most, known from coast to coast. And my goal here on Community Conversations is just to make sure you are informed. We can talk about problems all day long, but if you don't know how to provide a solution for yourself, that's the issue. And so Community Conversations is where I bring nonprofits on who are making a difference and providing solutions every day. And I have in here with me Miss Cori Wolff, who is the executive director of Cincinnati Memorial House Society. How are you doing, Quinn?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you with me this morning.
Thanks so much for having us.
So, we go to Cincinnati Memorial Hall all the time for events, different occasions. But I told you earlier, I think it's only right that we bring you all on because you all have been around for a long time. You continuously give us great programming and you've been very consistent. And I think it's only right that we really truly know what is the mission and vision behind the whole entire brand. So, just in case somebody's not familiar, tell us about Cincinnati Memorial Hall Society and your purpose.
Sure. So most people, when we ask, where is Memorial Hall, a lot of people think that it's Music Hall. It's actually the adjacent Beaux-Arts building right next to Music Hall on historic Washington Park. So we're in 1908 Beaux-Arts building. The building was actually created to support veterans of the Civil War and the Spanish-American War. So back in 1908, it was, the architect was Samuel Hannaford and Sons. And for a long time, the building sat in disrepair and disuse due to veterans, passing away from those wars. And our organization, the Cincinnati Memorial Hall Society, was formed in 2004 by a group of community members who were interested in bringing this building back to life. So we raised the funds to, do the restoration of the building in 2015 and 2016 alongside 3CDC in Hamilton County. Hamilton County actually owns the building, and 3CDC operates and programs it on a daily basis. But our organization, the Memorial Hall Society, is sort of the friends group of Memorial Hall. We're like a community voice. So we're 30 trustees. I'm the only staff member. And we have a big community and committee of people who help us program the Longworth-Anderson series, which is our primary effort. It's a contemporary music series.
Talk to us about that, because isn't that something you all do every year?
Yeah, so this is actually our 6th season. So it was established in 2017, and we've had 7 to 10 shows per year in a variety of genres. So everything from R&B, soul, blues, gospel to folk, bluegrass, country, Americana. We also do rock, indie rock. So everything, there's really something for everyone, with the exception of classical music. We don't really have classical, but that's kind of already covered in our city. So we are actually the only contemporary music series in Cincinnati, I believe. There are a lot of one-off, concerts and events happening. We have a great music culture and scene here, but we're really the only entity that's consistently programming contemporary music.
Why the Longworth-Anderson series?
So the Longworth-Anderson family has been a prominent family in Cincinnati for many generations, and we were actually provided support by the Anderson Foundation back when we were working on the restoration. So we thought that was a fitting way to sort of honor those families, and those names carry some weight to them. But the music series itself, we really tried to, involve diverse voices in what we're doing. So, we have this committee composed of about 30 to 35 people at the moment who represent voices from, everything from former music promoters to musicians, to arts writers, to just music enthusiasts, people who know a lot about music and that we can sort of lean on to tell us what's hip right now and what people want to see. So it's been great involving all of these different voices.
And I know it's very diverse. You mixed it up with all the different performances. Talk about some people that have performed in the series and some of the different genres that you covered.
Sure. So we launched the series with Roseanne Cash, which was huge. You know, she's like a 14-time country singer-songwriter. Everyone knows Rosanne Cash. And we had Mavis Staples, who we actually partnered with the Freedom Center to honor her with an Everyday Freedom Hero Award when she was here. You know, famous blues, legendary blues and soul singer-songwriter. Rhiannon Giddens has been with us a couple of times. We've had Marty Stewart, country singer-songwriter, Bela Fleck and Abigail Washburn, all kinds of performers. And we have some really interesting shows coming up for the fall as well.
Okay, and so if we want to, you know, participate in the series or maybe possibly have ideas for ourselves, you know, how are you all including the community in your programming?
Sure. So anyone who is interested in getting more involved with the series, I would really encourage you to reach out to me directly. You know, I can talk with you about your interests, whether they're volunteering at our events, serving on that committee that I just mentioned to help us, you know, to help inform what acts we bring to town. We have different ways for people to get involved in terms of sponsorship. So joining our Friends and Founders Support Group, which supports the Longworth-Anderson series efforts, or joining our friends group, Friends of Memorial Hall, that supports historic preservation efforts of the building. So ensuring that the building is preserved and protected for years to come and doesn't fall back into disrepair as it did, you know, 50 years ago. So there are tons of ways for people to get involved. We actually partner with a lot of different organizations around the city on our events. We work with a lot of the local restaurants and distributors, especially. So for each of our events, we have a pre-concert reception, which is a complimentary reception that's included in the cost of the ticket. We keep our ticket pricing really accessible, so it's anywhere from $35 to $80, and you get this really intimate experience. It's only a 556-seat theater, so you're really up close and personal with the artist. But at the receptions, everybody's invited to join us for an hour and a half long, basically just opportunity to mix and mingle with everyone before you go up to see the show. And we have free food and beverages by different local bars and restaurants. We also have live local music. So we're curating acts that correspond with the headlining artists. So, you know, it's a great opportunity for these emerging artists to get some visibility, and for the restaurants and bars to get an opportunity to get paid and to get their name out there. So that's just some of the ways that we involve communities.
Yes, I love it. This is Community Conversations on 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz and 100.3. I am Queen Miss Ebony J. Hope you're having an amazing Sunday. Of course, on Community Conversations is where we bring nonprofit organizations to talk about the different things that they're doing in the community. And we know the Cincinnati Memorial Hall Society is always bringing us great programming. And like she said, always involving the community. I thought it was only right to have her here, because I realized something that she said earlier. There's only one specific person that works for Cincinnati Memorial Hall Society. Everybody else are like volunteers, and they do, you know, this great work. Talk about how this model works, and how have you been able to build a team that's like solely pulled behind this mission, because it's been around for 50 years, like you said, and keep building together is one thing, but also having the program. And we know this takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does. There are so many people who are involved. I mean, beyond the 30 people who are on the board, beyond the 35 committee members, it really is a community effort. We have so many people who give money every year to make this happen. The trustees that have been involved, some of them have been involved, you know, since the organization was founded in 2004, which is incredible. I mean, you can just see the dedication of people and how much they really love this building and want to care for it and make sure that, you know, future generations can enjoy it. So it's a lot of people on a daily basis that I'm interacting with. We have a booking agent, music and event management that we work with closely. So they have a lot of the connections to artist agents around the country. We're able to bring in top quality artists at a, you know, reasonable price. And you know, our community is really involved. When I ask for volunteers, I have people stepping up. I have, you know, we get a lot of feedback when we do our community surveys, so we're able to implement a lot of that in what we do and make sure that, you know, we're representing the community well.
Now, how long have you been with Cincinnati Memorial Hall Society?
I've been with them for about 5 years now, a little over 5 years.
So just
So,
watching the growth and from how since you've been there, because I mean, I heard you say you all were established in '04.
yeah.
So just looking like, time has really gone. And since you've been there, what have you seen grow and change? And what would you like to see happen?
Sure. So, I mean, like I said, originally it was just a trustee organization. So, really relying on volunteer support. There was an executive director who was managing Memorial Hall back when our organization was really running the whole building. They were programming like 250 plus events per year in the space. Now 3CDC has assumed that role. But with the Longworth-Anderson series, when I arrived, we had really strong footing and momentum. A lot of people had already given money over the course of the first year to launch the series. The people that we call our founders, so people who have given $500 and up. We had a big list of people who had already contributed, but we didn't have things like a website. We didn't have Instagram presence. There were a lot of things that I really wanted to implement just to further engage people and make sure that they knew what the brand was and what distinguished us from the other offerings at Memorial Hall. So I think we've gained a lot of momentum in terms of working with interns, younger voices to help us determine what we should be doing to stay relevant. And yeah, I think the more voices, the better to help us figure out what it is we're going to be. But we have a big list of people who continue to give year over year. That's really helped us sustain our programming. We have actively been working on it's not an endowment, but sort of like an endowment campaign to make sure that we have ongoing money to restore the building when things go wrong. So, anything from a new roof, it's already time for a new roof after, 7 years, and other things to make sure that the building is standing first and foremost.
How important is this building for our history? Like, I know we have some parts of our community, things here, buildings, monuments, just certain things that just can't be moved, can't be touched.
Yeah.
Would you say when it relates to Cincinnati Memorial Hall?
Well, the building was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1978. So, it's clearly has demonstrated that it's a significant building in the history of Cincinnati and also nationally. It as I said, is a historic Beaux-Arts building. So there are a lot of elements of it that you'll see in other buildings across the country, like the New York Public Library. And I think it's the only building in the city that has statuary on it. So if you look, it's got some very intricate and ornate details toward the top that are very interesting if you look closely. It's absolutely stunning inside. If you haven't been inside, it's just everything from the murals to the decorative ironwork to the marble that's all, original or has been replaced according to old photographs that we had from the time that it was constructed. So it's all been done very, genuinely and true to the original building.
Can we expect any updates or renovations to happen in the near future as it relates to the building?
Yeah, we actually were just granted $100,000 by the Luther Foundation as part of Fifth Third Bank. They have been wonderful in supporting our historic preservation efforts. So part of that money will be used on, as I said, the roof and other things that need to be taken care of more immediately. We obviously don't need moisture to be getting into the building, so we need to make sure we're keeping up with these things. Recently, the Luther Foundation also supported some updates, restoring some of the decorative painting, adding new lighting to our stairwells, some safety amenities, like a new center railing for the front of the building. So we're constantly sort of evaluating and prioritizing what needs to be done alongside 3CDC to make sure that we're keeping up.
Is it handicap accessible down there?
Yes, it is. There's an elevator. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big thing right now. Is there anything that's coming up that we can look forward to for the summer? I know you just wrapped up the spring series.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have 2 shows in the fall that have been announced. One of them is on September 12th, Corinne Bailey Rae, the Black Rainbows Tour. So you might remember her songs, Girl Put Your Records On and Like a Star. She was a huge artist back in the 90s. She's still so relevant, Grammy winner. She's doing this project that was inspired by objects and artworks that were collected by the artist Theaster Gates in Chicago. So the project is sort of a series of performances and visuals and lectures and exhibitions that coincide with this album release in September. So she'll be performing from songs from that album, which is really exciting. And then we have on September 22nd, John Hyatt. He is a 10-time Grammy nominated artist. He's a blues rock lyricist and singer-songwriter, and part of the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. So a couple of really exciting artists. We're also going to be announcing a couple additional acts in the coming weeks. So we'll definitely be having between 8 to 10 really strong shows this year, and have already sold out 5 at Memorial Hall this spring.
Okay, look, yeah, you gotta put a smile on. That's something to be proud of now, Cori. That's good,
Yeah.
Queen.
It's great to be back after the pandemic, you know.
We know it was hard, right? People coming outside, you selling now. That's what I'm saying. Now you're ready for the fall.
Yeah.
So I guess the best thing to do would be to go ahead and head on over to social media and get connected. Longworth_Anderson_series is the social media. We would love for you to go over there. If you love concerts, you love having a good time, you want to come out, do something fun in the community, that is the social media platform. Hit the handle Longworth, one word, _Anderson_series. Please make sure you go and check it out. And then do you all, the company, does you all have a actual social media page that we can follow?
Yeah, so on Facebook, we have 2 social media pages. One is Cincinnati Memorial Hall Society. So that's, you know, mostly focused on our historic preservation efforts. And then the Longworth-Anderson series is on there as well. And then if you're just interested in, you know, more generally knowing about Memorial Hall OTR is another Facebook page.
Do you all offer any educational programs or resources over there?
Memorial Hall does, yes. There's lots of educational programming, children's programming, all kinds of events that take place outside of the Longworth-Anderson series that we do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't mix them up. I
Yeah.
didn't have any opportunities to ask any other questions. So let's get ready for the fall, okay? Because the Longworth series and Anderson series is coming back. And of course, we want to make sure that you all are informed. So to follow us on social media would be the best thing. And are you all looking for any board members right now?
Yes, always. Yes, and we, you know, need a variety of skill sets, everything from programming to marketing, legal, finance, everything, you name it. We're a nonprofit, so always looking for more hands and voices. So if you're interested, just contact me.
All righty. Well, thank you so much again for coming to speak to me today. This is Community Conversations, where we come to really solve problems. Every problem that you have, I'm telling you, there's someone out here that got a solution. So if there's something I haven't talked about yet that you would love to hear, or a resource of something you're in need, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Queen Ebony on Facebook, Miss Ebony J on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My mission is to make sure that we are all living out our purpose and being our best selves. And so if there's anything I can do to help you, please feel free to reach out. Thank you again, Miss Cori, for coming through.
Really appreciate the opportunity. So awesome.
No problem. This is 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. Stick around, more community conversations on the way.